the chairman of the occasion, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, of course, fellows of the Institute, Your Excellencies present here, and of course, members of the panel. I'd like to thank the organizers for giving me the privilege to moderate such a high-powered panel of discussants this morning. And I would like us to just go straight into the business of the day, especially in view of the limited time that we have. So this is the way it's going to go. I'm going to give each and every one of us an opportunity to do 5 minutes each. Just summarize in your own words a roadmap to a new Nigeria, and then we're going to throw open to the floor, and the members of the audience can touch space, and then I'm going to come back to you, and you will do another 2 minutes in wrapping up, and then we will call it a day. I have seen the panel constitution, and it spreads across various stakeholders. One, we have, of course, Professor Umaru Pate, very renowned practitioner, Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Kashari, and I believe this is second posting. He used to be a Vice Chancellor. Is this your first one? I got that wrong. And I'm sure you probably will be speaking to us from the education perspective. Mr. Tim Akao, who's the MD of New Horizons Limited, we expect you to probably speak to us from the private sector. How is this affecting your business, or what can be done to make sure it goes forward? And to the Senior Advocate of Nigeria and the Legal Advisor of PANDEF, Mrs. Nela, and then Ewa Rabana, your frame precedes you. My wife is a lawyer, and she talks about you quite often. So sometimes when you're hearing voices at home, it's us talking about you. I expect that what is the legal framework to help us get into this destination of a new Nigeria? And of course, my very good friend, Professor Ikechukwu. I don't know where I place Okay, he's media, he's a philosopher, he's an author, he's an educationist. Well, we have somebody from education. So I'm going to put you in the NGO. Yeah, I'm going to put you in NGO. How can you support us? And of course, Barrister Ambassador Suraju, youth leader, what role do the youth have to play in what we're talking about? Unfortunately, I do not see Reverend Danny Thompson in the audience. I would have wanted him to take on the perspective of religion. How can religious bodies help us? What role do they have to play? And I hopefully somebody from the audience will take up from where Alaji Paiko spoke about the traditional aspect of it. So, let me start with you, Professor Pate. Education, what role does he have in the roadmap for a new Nigeria?
Thank you, moderator, and thank you, Nigeria, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. By October, Nigeria will be 2 years old. One would have expected by now we should be talking about how to improve the efficiency and functionality of our systems. Unfortunately, we are still stuck at the bottom trying to address the issue of identity, trying to ask or answer the question whether we are still a nation, a country that is united or not. Now, a number of factors are responsible for some of the frustrations that our Nigerians are expressing, and people are sometimes appearing so frustrated to the extent that they are even talking about completely scattering the country into pieces. Education has always been instrumental in the unity and integration of Nigeria. If you look at the history of the educational system, you realize that it has sort of acted as a unifier in several ways. And when I talk of education, apart from the school system, you can also look at other aspects of education like examination bodies, WAEC, for example, then SEC-JAM, which is also another controversial aspect, NYSC, all these are related to education. Now, If you look at our school system, people in the past come from different backgrounds and stay together and school together. But today, if you look at the way the education system is structured, it has been factionalized into good schools for those that have, poorly funded government schools for the children of the poor. Not only that, the fractionalization also goes along religious lines. People go to schools based on their sectoral divides. So you have, number one, division on income, division on religion, and importantly, division of geographical boundaries. In the past, people could go to universities outside of their own zones. Today, it's possible for me to have a child on the campus of my university. That child will attend the primary school on that campus, go to secondary school on the same campus, go to the university of that school, and go and lobby for NYSC for him to be posted in his own zone. At the end of the day, he is so provincial and localized to his own area without knowing the country called Nigeria. A country of about 260 million people, a country that has over 977,000 kilometers. And this is further compounded with the social media, where people sit, manufacture information about their own areas of competence, and distribute. And because of insecurity, we fear to travel. And again, government has so much provincialized itself today that we no longer go on transfer. Only the people in the services go on transfer. So it's possible for somebody to be born in one city. In Lagos, he will be born in Lagos, school in Lagos, NYSC in Lagos, work in Lagos, and talk about Nigeria, and talk about Maiduguri, without having a clear understanding of the structure, system, sociology, as well as the historical and citizens of Nigeria. This is why some of our elites will sit in their corners and talk about dividing Nigeria without knowing the complexities, the diversities, the multiculturalism, as well as the pluralistic nature of the country called Nigeria. And education, because there's so much abandoned education and pushed it aside by the same elites who benefited from the educational system that functioned in the past. Today, Nigerians no longer sit together in the same classrooms. The poor go to miserably funded schools that are poorly equipped and graduate without having functional education. The rich sponsor themselves to go to rich schools, go out of Nigeria, and come back to continue to rule without having the fairest interest of those who are at the lower level. So education is increasingly becoming less an instrument in the integration of Nigeria, and we just can't continue along that line. I don't need to restate the fact that our universities have been closed for the past 6-7 months. What is the consequence of this on the development of Nigeria according to the status and structure of our people in the future? Those that have not been going to school are disadvantaged, and those that are going to school are advantaged. So at the end of the day, how do they compare on the Nigerian landscape? And what will that mean to peace and integration in the system? When we cannot travel, how can people be assured that their children can be safe if they go elsewhere to go to school? So how do we know ourselves? How can a child from Port Harcourt, for example, respect a child from Maiduguri when they meet in Abuja? And again, people go to school in their own environment, they come and lobby in Abuja to get employment. When they get employment, flies are brought from other parts of Nigeria for them to handle. They do not have the faintest idea of how the other parts look like. So at the end of the day, you have the circulation of poverty of knowledge and the penury of ideas about the country itself. At the end of the day, we control to abuse ourselves and talk against each other based on ignorance. And our psychologies are poisoned by our own elites to the extent that we see ourselves as hate. We see ourselves on the basis of hatred. Nigeria is a beautiful country, but it lacks those who love the country called Nigeria. We treat the country as a market, where everybody comes, goes to the market during the day, does his business, and in the evening runs back to his own house, leaving the market empty. And this is Nigeria, like I said somewhere, we have collectively turned Nigeria into an unfortunate sick man that has refused to die and has refused to respond to treatment. So we have to go to the sick man.
Well, Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you very much, Prof. To Prof, education is key. We've been blinded by ignorance. Nigerians no longer sit together in the same classroom. I went to school. My primary school was in Lagos. I was born in Lagos. My primary school was in Lagos, and my secondary school was in Lagos. But by some arrangement, I ended up for my higher secondary school in Kaduna, Federal Government College, Kaduna, to be precise. And I remember I met some of my brothers from the north, and I asked them that I wanted to learn Hausa. They should just teach me. And the first thing they taught me, you're going to interpret this to me. In a soki sose. And they asked me to go and say it to the female students. I still don't know what it means. But one of the most wonderful times that I've had in my life, definitely in my education, was the 2 years I spent in Magali village in Kaduna. I was completely bowled over. I can say, perhaps after Lagos, Kaduna is the next place I know best. I still consider it as my home, and that's as a result of what education did. Yes, thank you. You can clap. Thank you. And Prof said to us that education is becoming less of an instrument of integration in Nigeria, and we are treating Nigeria as a sick man. Thank you very much, Prof. I'll come back to you in a while. So, Mr. Timakao, how is this working for private sector? I'm from the private sector, and our role is so much. But what we're going to be looking for is what is the solution, especially rising from the discussions we've had over the last 2 days.
Thank you very much, our MC. Yesterday, I did a paper on how to remarket Nigeria. I want to start by saying that nation building is not a rocket science. When America was 60, it has solved food problem. It has solved electricity problem. Thomas Edison had invented electricity at 60. So when we say Nigeria today not too young to run, I also want to submit here today that Nigeria is not too young to have developed into a nation state. I gave a 15-point framework on which we can build a new Nigeria yesterday. One, if the foundation is strong, there is nothing we can build on it that is going to endure. We've got to decentralize the structure of the country. When you have an heterogeneous society like UK, like US, the best to do is to decentralize such that every federating unit will be able to work at its own speed. The second point we put forward yesterday is that when we want to market Nigeria, I gave a list of about 40 countries that have changed their names in the last 50 years. So we also submitted that it's high time we consider changing the name of the country along a pattern or a theme, whether a land of great people, a land of happy people, a land of hospitable people. The third point we put forward yesterday is that without ethical revolution, there is hardly not much we can do as a country. For instance, if somebody steals 109 billion in a country where the students have been at home for 7 months, and this 109 billion is about 30% of what the students need to go back to school. And we are not paid, and we are not shocked, or because we've been shocked beyond the state of shockability. So that shows that we need ethical revolution in this country. In Japan, government doesn't need to shame you. You commit suicide when you do something against what they consider ethical. In South Korea, you commit suicide, you dump into the river. When you do something that the government consider, or the people or the public consider unethical. But in Nigeria, we are waiting for the next news. Everything is gone. This following day, somebody stole 10 billion, and we are also not shocked. So we are due for ethical revolution in this country. The third point we put forward yesterday is that in every smart nation, UK, Singapore, civil service is the bedrock of development. So we've got to rework our civil service to make it more competitive. The fourth point we put forward is public service. Our public service is thinking. If you go to Dubai, the public service is the bedrock of development they have there, and it works. So we've got to have public service that works for everyone. Also, we talk about lean government. 70% of parastatal we have today can be categorized as pipe C. Pipe C is the water that takes water, it doesn't give water out. So these are parastatal that are not adding real value to the economy. Also, we talk about effective collection of taxation. Taxes are used to govern or to run any government, but we are very poor in tax collection. And I put forward yesterday that there is nothing wrong to say that going forward from 2027, if you don't pay tax, you cannot vote. If you say you cannot contest, if you don't pay tax, then you can as well say that you cannot vote if you don't pay tax. The other point I put forward yesterday was that we've got to have 8 zones of development. Lagos is overburdened. Every graduate from everywhere want to come to Lagos or Abuja to work. And it cannot work this way. We've got to have zonal center of development. The other point we put forward is that CBN said recently 1% of foreign investment left Nigeria. So we've got to have a sustainable way of ensuring that FDI comes to Nigeria, they make money and they stay here. Finally,
Sorry, Tim, I'm going to have to hold you because I'm told you are on live television and we're going to be cut off very soon. So just hold your thought. In the last 2 minutes, you can bring it back. So let me just give Mrs. Nana and Ewa Rabana to just say, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to limit you to 3 minutes now because we've got to get off this so that we're not cut off. Can you do it in 3 minutes? Just your submission in 3 minutes. How can we use the legal framework?
Yes, I'll try. Basically, regardless of the 3 minutes, I think we need to understand that we can't move forward without getting the dynamics and legal dynamics right. I presumed right from yesterday that we all agree that we have to interrogate those issues because we are diverse people. We have to interrogate those issues that are unresolved. And by virtue of the reports that were presented yesterday, I am thankful that NIPR recognizes the fact that we are of different cadres and we are of different colorings, and they have taken into account or at least attempted to hear what those aspirations are. Now, from a legal perspective, I believe that the starting point has to be we the people. We have to ask ourselves, if we are going to resolve this thing, is it the elite, is it the politicians, or is it us, we the people? And if we are going to start interrogating, where do you start from? It's the Constitution. And what are those areas? Have we been able to identify whether or not the Constitution is in sync with our national aspirations? Those national aspirations are covered by, of course, human rights, are covered by the provision of a robust economy, security, and in fact, I remember, I think it's Dubai, where he says his motivation is the pursuit of happiness. When people are not happy, what does the impact is negativity violence, and all those symptoms that we are now saying that did not exist before. So, from a legal perspective, I think the solution is the rule of law. Let me also take us to PANDEF. PANDEF particularly, like I said yesterday, is not just restarting the conversation. It has in fact sustained the conversation. And it continues to say that if we do not restructure, and that restructuring includes devolution of powers, restructuring the economy, we have continued to restructure and restructure. So the question now is, what sort of restructuring do we want? And I thank NIPR because this is the platform where those various perspectives and colorings of restructuring would be agreed, identified, and discussed. When we agree that is the first step. In fact, PANDEF, I have to go back since I came here on the account, is in court over the enforcement and compliance of the same constitution on federal character. Now, we talk about it all the time, but it's staring us in the face, and it is provided, once people are aggravated, there is no way you will have peace, there is no way you will have development, there is no way you will have security, unless those issues are addressed. And why it is critical and why the legal, from the legal perspective, is central to it is because the ability to structure and enforce those how do I put it? Those aspirations
yes.
that have been identified will be through the legal framework, which can be agreed. And I'm believing that we would be able to agree that here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm Yasin, advocate of Nigeria. Thank you. Okay, I'm coming over to you. Do the NGOs have a role to play in the... Okay.
Oh, certainly, you're talking about a roadmap. There are a few things to put on the table. I think there should be a summit of all NGOs to answer a simple question: who are we working for? Most NGOs work for their funders, and you find that yes, we're Nigerians running NGOs, but national interest rarely becomes part of the conversation. So NGO managers should know that they must have a country, first of all. They should also drop the superiority complex that makes them presume that they can pontificate on national issues just because they have a registered national NGO. Because you must ask yourself, what's the knowledge content, what's the epistemic authority of many of these people? And you find that while meaning well, they end up, or some of them actually end up not serving the national interest. We're all familiar with the controversy over human rights in the fight against terrorism. I'll go with some of my boys, wipe out a village, kill officers, superior officers the country has spent years training, and then it doesn't matter, you're talking about human rights of full-blown criminals, and so you find that your communication further diminishes your country, whereas you imagine that you're actually serving humanity with it. These are some of the narratives that have to be brought more deliberately to the consciousness of the NGO managers so that they answer that question: who am I working for? What am I working towards? If my narrative is making people not to supply my country arms with which to fight bandits, if I'm talking about the human rights of people who have to a large extent proven themselves not to be human, am I really properly focused as a non-governmental organization? Am I serving humanity? I think these are some of the things to consider in the conversation going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, okay. All right, Ambassador Suraj, you have a microphone. Okay. Now, the core of who we are talking about is the youth. And you are supposed to be the present, you are supposed to be the future. But there's so much dissonance. We are not sure where you stand. A lot of people say that the desire for a new Nigeria is only social media driven. Because we find out that when some youth that represent you have taken office, they've done exactly the same thing like the establishment. So is there really any future? Do you really want to change? Or you want to change so that you also can benefit. When you individually, and once you benefit, you are not really interested in the change for the whole of Nigeria.
Distinguished personalities, respectfully, sir, I must say that before you expect a harvest, you must sow the seed. Why I'm talking about this is, in my little sojourn so far, I've traveled across the nation, and I must say, when you all know that Nigeria is truly and indeed blessed, from the topography to the natural resources to the people, Nigeria is really blessed. From the little reading we have done, reading of history, we know that from the beginning Nigeria held a lot of promise. But unfortunately, almost 62 years after, it is on that only a promise. Discussing with our peers, and most definitely our parents and our little research, we understand that the problems, most importantly, is one, intentional refusal to understand our diversity, God-given diversity, and to deploy it appropriately. And secondly, lack of enthusiasm to place youth strategically and use them for national development. I will take the first stand. I think too much blame on the government. Let me go back home where they say charity begins. My father always tells me, and sitting there from yesterday, it has been corroborated that he had a beautiful growing up in a rainbow-like society where you go to school, nobody cares what religion you practice. They do not ask unnecessary questions. Or we begin to believe, is he really talking about the Nigeria we're in today? Or however, our doubts are instigated when we see him meet his friends, introduce them to us as his brothers and sisters, the hugs, the laughter, and all of it. Mr. Moderator, sir, you said you lived in Kaduna at a point. All the youth are asking today from you, and all of you here, is that please take us back. Yes. Please take us back. Even if not better, take us back. I'll borrow a leaf from the prof who talked about education. If you talk about education, one could continue to study. But in this context, I want to talk about the youth generally. We have a system where the problem between the government and our dear teachers is affecting us. It shouldn't be that way. All that we ask, whoever presides over the system, should make sure he gives us education, and by that producing citizens, youth, who will put the leaders on their toes, ask necessary questions where possible.
Yes.
It is disheartening to think of this. The entire future of Nigeria, with youth or not, depends solely on the unity of this country. There is a projection that by 2050, we're going to be 450 million Nigerians. That is the projection. So I think the reopening of this conversation wouldn't have happened in a better time. Imagine this conversation not on, nothing done. It means more migrants, more out-of-school children, more unemployment. So, the youth, my advice goes to the youth, this, like you said, some of us have been given the opportunities and all of it, but they have squandered it in causing a distrust for all of us between the leaders and the youth. Yes, true, Nigeria is not an experimental lab, but risks must be taken.
Okay.
Because definitely a generational transition must happen, even if for selfish interest. You are going to have sons, nieces, family in the generation to come. Begin to train them.
Okay.
Even if begin to train them, so that we all can have a better society.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Because of time, we're going to throw it to the floor. I'm trying to get you more time. and where's Auntie Margot? She's trying to take time away from you. So know who is your friend and who is your enemy. But okay, we have 4. I understand we can only take 4 people. I can't really see from here, so I'm going to ask. My vice president is on the floor somewhere there. Maybe you can help me choose those 4 people. 2 female, 2 male. Can we just take the microphone out there? Please make don't worry about the protocol. We already know it's been established, and like okay told us, in fact, we have been standing on it this time, so we're not sitting on it. So nobody should sit or stand on it. Just ask a question, make it brief. Like I said, we're on live TV, and we don't want to be cut off before the president makes his own statement. Thank you. Yes, so I'm just giving you the opportunity to take those 4 questions. Please tell us if your question is directed at somebody. Make it very brief, less than 1 minute. Yes, Reverend, I see you. At least I see your call line, I don't see you.
Thank you very much. I am Reverend Father Professor B.A.C. Ubiefuna. By the special grace of God, a member of Council of NIPR. I want to say something based on religion and issues of national integration, peace and security in Nigeria. The point I want to make is this. God is God, irrespective of whatever name you call him or her. Precisely part of what I'm doing, what I'm saying. Nobody here can prove that God is a man or a woman. God is an ultimate reality. God is not religious. Human beings are religious. Every religion, whether you call it world religion or indigenous religion, is culture bound. Culture is relative. Okay? No culture is superior to the other. Therefore, if God is one, people who practice religion should not fight because they are practicing religion. Okay? Because God himself is very, very, very peaceful.
All right. Okay.
The fact that you are going to Abuja and you are going by road, some other person is going by air. You cannot, because you are going by road, fight the person that is going by air. At the end of the day, all of you are going to Abuja. Let us stop fighting because of it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. God is not religious, and that's coming from a Reverend Father. Really, sometimes I think we there's a phrase like that, we over-religionize what we do. Every time we're praying, everything we leave it to God. Let's just do what we need to do. Next question, please, or next comment. So I take that as a comment, not a question. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adiola Samonada. I just want to beg our leaders, our fathers, who happen to be leading the country at this time, to kindly give the youth a chance. For a long time, the country is at this junction because our youths are not involved, they are not integrated into the system. We are where we are, there is no light, there are no roads, our roads are not safe. And I put it to you all, sir, our parents, you did not secure today for us. We want to secure tomorrow for our children. And we want you to please give us that opportunity. 2023 is by the corner. If the person or the people that were leaders of the country when I was a toddler are still my leader in my 40s, then what becomes the future of my children? Please, we are begging you. I am speaking on behalf of Nigerian
you so much. That's a passionate appeal from you, on behalf of the youth. And I'm sure Ambassador Sirajo echoes what you're saying. Yes, sir.
My name is Muhammad and by grace of God, a member of the NIPR from the FCT chapter. Let me appreciate the NIPR, appreciate the various syndicate groups, and inform you that I participated in the 10th syndicate group titled Leveraging Traditional Structures and Institutions for Community Peace and Sustainable Security for National Integration. It was a general consensus in that syndicate group that the traditional institutions and structures that we have in this country are all encompassing. They are diverse, they are unique in various spheres, and very, very effective in their domains. And we said it is important for the country, for the governance structure to incorporate these traditional institutions and structures so that at the end of the day, their various potentialities, effectiveness can be utilized in the modern governance structure and the modern governance system. What do I mean? The National Council of Traditional Rulers, in their wisdom, have also been advocating for this, and that is why very early in the life of this 9th National Assembly, they came up with a draft bill and sent it to the leadership of the National Assembly. But I believe, and we believe, that the National Assembly is still looking at those provisions, trying to come up with what will be a constitutional power for traditional rulers. And that is one of the consensus of the syndicate group. We say, give the traditional institutions, the traditional structures, more powers, recognize them constitutionally, because the legal advisor of Pandava just said it. You cannot build where there is nothing. You cannot build on nothing. The basic thing is to start with the legal framework. And that is what the traditional rulers, the traditional institutions are saying. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. One more, we promise one more. Just please make it very succinct. We are racing against time. Don't worry, please just your name and then just give us a contribution.
Okay, my name is Dr. Katume Abdullahi Shelang from Bauchi State. I used to remember when we were kids, my parents were Muslims, but I attended missionary schools then. And I could remember we used to go to our neighbors to eat rice on Sundays and during Christmas. But nowadays, we hardly allow our kids to visit our neighbors. Why? Please, let us go back to where we used to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I understand I have a big problem. What they're telling me, we still have to take the president and his speech has to be national. Unfortunately, they're asking us to round up. I really do apologize. There's going to be 1 minute and I'm going to take it. All right. You know what we have advocated for? We have advocated for what we call the NAVI, the National Reorientation, Value Reorientation Initiative, to be led by the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. We believe that there should be a vehicle that must be driven by the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Now, this initiative is not competing with NOA. It is complementary to what NOA is doing. Right now, NOA is not properly funded. There are things that are not happening. We believe that if this initiative is private sector driven, it can complement and support what NOA is doing. We can strategize, or we can re-energize the national value system for our country if we come up with this initiative. I do apologize. I was hoping I could give you 1 more minute, but I'm a man. Corey, can we do? Okay, now they said I can do that. 1 more minute. 1 more minute. Let me start from there.
Yeah. Oh yes, very quickly to the youth. 2 things. Nigerian youth got us independence. Is that correct? Nigerian youth ruined Nigeria. Is that correct? What's the age bracket of those who started the trouble in 1966? They are youth. So note this. The first group of youth had knowledge. The others, they had their own level of knowledge, but they were more about impunity. So ask yourself, what's the epistemic status of every youth who is saying he can change Nigeria? That's one. Two, what's the age of your ideas? Youth, please note this. Your biological age does not make you qualified to give us a new Nigeria. True or false? If you're 27, you're my PA, and I'm doing everything wrong in Nigeria and you're emulating me, you don't belong to the future. True or false? I thought I should make that point so that we don't continue to kill ourselves in America. Thank you very much.
Thank you. In closing, I want to put for us that the role of technology is very central. For every smart nation, they build their civilization on technology. In the 17th century, we lost to slave trade because we had poor technology. In the 18th century, during the Industrial Revolution, Africa and Nigeria also lost because we had weak technology. In the 19th century, when we had the Windows, the Microsoft, and the rest of them, 20th century, we didn't have anything to compete. For us as a nation, we have a window of opportunity today in what we call the 4.0 technology. These are artificial intelligence, these are data science, big data, and the rest of them. So for the youth today, if you are here and you want to be the next Bill Gates or the next Facebook guy, the right place for you to go is to become a data scientist. They earn as much as $250,000 per annum now, if you are the top echelon of that. And for any nation, for Nigeria, we also have to embrace the 4.0 technology. That's one window of opportunity we have when oil has become like sachet water. We are going to live on knowledge, not on what comes from the ground. Thank you very much. Prof.
Thank you very much. The level of frustration and discontentment in Nigeria is rising by the day, and we cannot continue to take this for granted. We have to work to strengthen our institutions, address the issue of corruption, address the issue of poor leadership, as well as the inefficiency in the systems. With that, we could create additional opportunities that will assure us on why we need to be in Nigeria. Other than that, we shall continue to lament, and things will continue to deteriorate until the day we wake up to see that we are killing each other. We pray that day will not come. I wish you well.
Thank you. Madam.
From my perspective is first, before the youths have the children, I think we should go back to the beginning. What is the content of the education and orientation of young children between the ages of 0 and 7? You don't ask. You just, it is what you see, you emulate. You are not paying enough attention. That's number one. So the value system, the home, what are we, by the time we aggregate all the aspiration, I hope that the issue of our value should come up. Finally, the issue of inclusiveness. Because you see, for as long as there's no equitable distribution of resources, no equitable opportunities, equal opportunities, you cannot have peace, you cannot discuss. You will continue to see the divisions amongst us. Therefore, let there be that template that we can hold on to say, indeed, we know what is truthful. Because corruption and whatever else is a character deficiency which I think is inherent and which we all pretend we don't know.
I have to. Okay.
I think mainstreaming, because when I was talking of equity, inclusiveness, children, young people, and women, all should have equal opportunities. Thank you very much.
Madam, that's why I gave you 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. My name is recommendation. A few recommendations. One, an enabling environment and definitely a youth-friendly policy. By that I mean, don't just give us something with the left hand and connect it with the right hand. Don't give us a not too long to run. Give us a not too expensive to aspire.
Thank you. On that note, give us not don't just give us not too young to run, also give us not too expensive to aspire. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank all the members of the panel, starting from my dear friend, Professor Okechukwu, Mr. Tim Akao, Professor Usman Pate, and of course our dear son, Mrs. Ewa Rabana, and of course Ambassador Suraju. I believe all the points that we have shared on this platform will go into the final communique, and I'm sure that it will be. Let me end on this talk. NIPR, and I'm part of NIPR. This must not be another talk shop. Madam Chairman, do I have your assurance that you will do everything within your power? As a matter of fact, Madam Chairman, your work actually starts after this summit. But because we will expect you to lead us to wherever we need to get to make sure that the things that we have resolved or we have resoluted today, action will follow. Thank you. With that, I say pleasant afternoon to all my panelists and to all members and the general. May I ask you all to please stand and invite Mr. President to take a photograph with us, symbolic of today, which he will sign and will hold him accountable for.
Thank you very much. A robust conversation, you'll say. We've started the roadmap to a new Nigeria. And shall we please applaud these very robust panelists who have spoken the heart of Nigerians and all the passionate appeals that has been made across board. The journey has begun. Yes, next time we'll ensure that we are 50-50 with the panel. Okay, so I'd like to invite the chairman. Thank you. Next time we'll think seriously about gender balancing, because that's where we are going. Doing it together. I'd like to invite Mr. President and Chairman of the Governing Council of NIPR. You have the microphone now. We want your remarks and inauguration of Summit Report Writing Committee.
Madam Chairman, the Vice President, NIPR, is the NIPR President here? Members of the Governing Council of the Institute, Fellows of the Institute, our partners in this very auspicious program. My colleagues, members of NIPR, it's very rare that I find myself lacking what to say. I'm actually overwhelmed. When we started this journey sometime last year, I remember one of the first people we consulted, because we had a wide range of consultations. It was Professor Anyao, and he asked me a very, very scary question. He said, do you realize the enormity of the task that you are trying to carry? And I said, sir, we don't want to realize the enormity of it if it is going to scare us. We want to take it on. And with you guys around, we are sure even if we falter, you won't let us fall. And I want to report that the elders from across the country have not failed us in this regard. They have been very supportive. They have been there for us. They have corrected us. The document that we have distributed here, which is the concept note, has undergone a lot of transformation on account of the corrections that these elders, that these elders have observed and drew our attention to, and we corrected. We want to thank them. And I want to report to all Nigerians that in the course of our consultation, when we realized that something needed to be done to arrest the descent into the abyss into this country was going, on account of breakdown in relationships, which we felt was actually a product of either breakdown of communication or even lack of communication. We didn't neglect any segment of the Nigerian society. We believe that you don't run away from a problem. You confront it head on and solve it. While we were doing this, we were actually discouraged from getting in touch with some segments because some quarters believed that they were the problem. And we felt, how can you solve a problem if you don't engage with it? We launched the engagement. We met everybody. And like I said yesterday, we didn't run into any closed door or closed mind or closed heart. We received warm receptions and love and a very painful longing for a return to that Nigeria that we all were proud to have grown up into. Some of the people that we read in newspapers and the media that are spewing venom and the entire world or some segments of the society they didn't believe in Nigeria, regaled us with beautiful stories of how they grew up into a very, very wonderful country and how they are frustrated and unhappy that it has come to this sorry pass. And that they are happy that even though coming after them, we want to correct the mistakes that some of them made. Some of them said, even us could not be more Nigerian than them. And we felt we needed to report this, that we didn't run into any quarters that felt Nigeria must collapse, Nigeria must not work. Everybody felt Nigeria must succeed, and this is why we are here. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am happy that we have undertaken this. We have come this far, but like somebody said earlier, that in fact, the end of this program is the beginning of the task. And we are very aware of that, and we want to thank you for coming. And I have the privilege of, because we have said that this is not going to be another talk shop. We intend to pursue it to its logical conclusion. In my speeches today, I did mention the fact that at the first stage, we want to take a 10-year period to begin to put structures in place to ensure that we retrace our steps, we ask the necessary questions, and put Nigeria on a path in which every generation will strive to work very hard to ensure that it bequeaths a better Nigeria than the one that it inherited. So we have come up with a report writing committee for this conference, which is composed of very, very notable, hardworking, patriotic, and passionate Nigerians. We want them to give us a report on the basis of all that has happened right from day one. By day one, I don't mean just yesterday, right from the time that this thing was conceptualized up to this moment, so that we can have a report that is workable, that is implementable, that is realistic, that takes into consideration the nuances, the idiosyncrasies, and all the peculiarities
of our people that takes into consideration the fact that we are diverse and diversity is a blessing that should be harnessed for the collective benefit of all. So I would crave the indulgence of the National Planning Committee to call out members of the report writing committee so that we can inaugurate the committee before you, and then our work starts. Thank you and good afternoon. Are we ready?
Okay, please kindly join us on the stage once you hear your name. Professor Andrew Hartner, former Vice Chancellor in Federal University Gashua, is chairing this committee. Professor Andrew Hartner, followed by Professor Emmanuel S. Dandaura, Executive Director, Institute for Strategic Development Communication, Nasarawa State University. Next is he's the co-chair, Professor Oke Ikechukwu, Professor of Management Development, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Maka, Deputy Chair. Mrs. Jamila Dahiru of Mass Comm Department, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Professor Omar Upate, Vice Chancellor, Federal University, Kashere. Dr. Comfort Ukwela, Rapporteur General Citizen Summit. Mr. Uzoma Onyebadwe, who will serve as Secretary. Mrs. Vera Anna Aaron, Assistant Secretary. Mrs. Victoria Paul, Assistant Secretary. Dr. Omoni Ibioton, Mr. Adile Iraju, Mrs. Ikamane Udo, Secretary, National Planning Committee, Citizen Summit. Mrs. Irene Uwakwe, Mr. Musa Bashir Usman, Publisher, Value Chain Magazine. Mr. Peter Daman, former Director of Information, Federal Ministry of Information. Mrs. Olubimi Banejo, Fellow of the Institute. Mr. Ignatius Ayusa from University of... Well,
excuse me.
He's a scholar in Tanzania, but he's here now.
Excuse me.
Mr. George Ugu, Mr. Israel Nandi Bigun, Mr. Jacob Sananu, Miss or Mrs. Gift Oyine Agriga, Mr. Emmanuel Oncholo, and Akai Gloria Asoloko. These are the 24 wise men and women that will craft the report for the Citizen Summit for National Integration, Peace and Security. And I am told that I'm supposed to be part of them. May I now invite Mr. President to inaugurate the committee. I understand you will tell us you will tell Professor Hartner how many years or days you want him to get the report ready. Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in the course of my speech, I thought I had already delivered I had done the inauguration speech because we don't have time. The only thing I didn't say is that part of the work of the report writing committee is to make sure that it includes a citizens' charter that will challenge Nigerians of what the nation expects of them. And it has the whole of 3 months to submit the report. Thank you very much and congratulations. I'm sure the chairman is going to say more. Thank you, sir.
A big task indeed. I want to thank the president of NIPR, the council, and I want to tell you that I am so challenged with this task. On behalf of the people who have mentioned and who are standing here, we are taking a promise. This promise is to deliver, because it is only when we do the right thing that Nigeria will move. I was fortunate to be a delegate at the National Conference of 2014. and among the 18 wise men and women who wrote the final report. I have seen Nigeria in different ways. I want us to give Nigeria hope. To conclude, for this hope, I started as a shoe shiner, cleaning shoes in front of the post office. When things were working, merit counts, because my father could not pay my school fees. But because we had a system which worked at that time, I am able, by the grace of God, to be a professor, a vice chancellor. I taught in several universities abroad. Now, this task you have given to us, I think this is one final lap of my life to leave a legacy for Nigeria and for our children to come. We promise you we shall deliver by the grace of God. Thank you on behalf of this wise men and women. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, there are two omissions that I would like to quickly correct. One is that Professor Gege is the deputy chair of this exercise, while Comrade Mohammed Haruna Ibrahim, his name was omitted while I was rushing through the list. Comrade, please, I apologize to you and request you to please join us. Thank you. Please, a round of applause for him. Hold on so I can give Comrade his own handshake. Okay.
I would like to, at this point, call on the Rapporteur General to please take a few minutes, 5 maybe, and quickly give us a recap of what the sessions have been, from the conference session to the syndicate sessions. The Rapporteur General will give us very quickly and in brief all that has been noted. This is for our future pursuits.
Thank you very much. There's no time for protocol. You are all well respected. It's been 2 days of serious work, 2 days of path-finding mission championed by the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations in a summit for national integration, peace and unity. And this has been the hub for which all stakeholders have been contributing since yesterday. At the end of the sessions, from plenary to syndicate to the panel and all sectors, one thing was a thread. We miss the old Nigeria and we want to get back there. The youth are clamoring for the old Nigeria, the aged, the children at foundational levels. The people living with disabilities who clamor every day that they've been left behind, and everyone. The traditional institutions and everyone. We all want to go back to that old and new Nigeria put in one. One of the points, because there's no time to go over it, is that in 1960, Nigerian youth gave us the independence. And Nigerian youth can take us back to those good old days. Also, another point is, that every smart nation builds their development on communication, on technology. Every smart nation builds their development on technology. Nigeria cannot do less. Also, the educational system needs to be restructured because you cannot build a nation that is bankrupt in knowledge. Therefore, we must reconsider the educational system, where the Nigerian child
is developed in Nigeria, not limited to a particular segment of Nigeria. Because if it's on a particular segment, lived in Lagos, schooled in Lagos, graduated in Lagos, did NYSC in Lagos, he cannot know Nigeria. The last point I would like to reiterate from the Communique Drafting Committee is that Nigeria is ours to own and make a bigger, better nation. The full committee report will be submitted to the Governing Council of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. On behalf of my friends who worked tirelessly at that rapporteuring table, please can you rise for recognition? I cannot do this alone. I'd like to thank you all for working and to thank the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations for this onerous honor given to us, and we hope that we have delivered. God bless Nigeria, and may this be an implementable report, an implementable communique for the good of our dear country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rapporteur General, Dr. Comfort Obiala, Fellow of the NIPR. And it's time for us to hear from the National Planning Committee Chairman, Citizen Summit. I'm talking about Dr. Ike Deliaku. He will give us a closing remark, the way forward, and tell us in simple words, thank you. Dr. Ike Deliaku, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'd like to thank our chairman for the sacrifice and for accepting to start her work now, after the summit. Thank you, our distinguished elders, young people, middle-aged,
I'm in an event, I can't go out. Go and meet him. I gave him. I copied it and I gave it to him. I am in an event, I can't go out. Go and meet him to give you the card. I gave him the card. I am in an event, I can't go out.
Sincerely thank you.
So talk to him, call him, please.
Mention these organizations that have given us tremendous support.
So what do you want me to do? I should leave what I'm doing. I can't leave what I'm doing. I've given him the card.
Largest network in Africa. Thank you very much, NTA.
I have repeatedly told you this thing, but I don't know what else you want me to do.
Thank you very much, Channels Television. Thank you very much, ASO Broadcasting Corporation.
So what do you want me to do now?
Thank you very much, Radio Nigeria. Thank you very much, Voice of Nigeria. Thank you very much, News Agency of Nigeria. Thank you very, very much, Arise News. Thank you, TVC. Thank you, Ray Power. Thank you, Media Trust. Thank you, Punch Newspapers. Thank you, AD4 TV Radio. Thank you, Cable News. Thank you, Leadership Newspaper. Thank you, Human Rights Radio TV. Thank you, Middle Belt Forum. Thank you, PANDEF. Thank you, Hanez Ndibu. Thank you, Afenifere. Thank you, Arewa Consulting Forum. Thank you, Association of Inter-Ethnic Married Nigerians. Thank you, Development Space Academy. Thank you, Association of Local Government of Nigeria. Thank you, the Albino Foundation. Thank you, National Youth Service Corps. Thank you, Directors Guild of Nigeria. Thank you, Actors Guild of Nigeria. Thank you, Africa Forum. Thank you, United Nigeria Airlines. Thank you, Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution. Thank you, Nigerian Diaspora Commission. Thank you, Nigerian Bar Association. Thank you, Great Child Foundation. Thank you, Nigerian Guild of Editors. Thank you, People's Movement for a New Nigeria. Thank you, Society for Family, Society for Peace Studies and Practice. Thank you, Africa Women Capacity Building Network. Thank you, Social Intervention Advocacy Foundation. Thank you, Arewa Youth Consultative Forum. Thank you, Police Community Relations Committee. Thank you, National Institute for Cultural Orientation. Thank you, National Association of Road Transport Owners. Thank you, Association of Advertising Agencies of Nigeria. Thank you, National Association of Nigerian Traders. Thank you, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities. Thank you, the School of Articulation and Behavioral Alignment. Thank you, Alumni Association of the National Defense Colleges. Thank you, Female Advocacy for the Inter-Ethnic Relations.
Thank you, National Association of Microfinance Bankers. Thank you, National Association of Women Journalists. Thank you, National Council of Women Societies. Thank you, Nigerian Union of Journalists. Thank you, National Council for Arts and Culture. Thank you, Defense Headquarters. Thank you, National Intelligence Agency. Thank you, Department for State Service. Thank you, Ministry of Interior. Thank you, Ministry of Federal Capital Territory. Thank you, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Thank you, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Thank you, Trade Union Congress. Thank you, Committee of Vice Chancellors of Nigeria Universities. Thank you, Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria. Thank you, Nigerian Labour Congress. Thank you, Institute for Chartered Mediators and Conciliators. Thank you, Alumni Association of Nigeria of National Institute. Thank you, National Orientation Agency. And thank you, Institute for National Transformation. Thank you, and thank you, and thank you. It's now my honor to invite Mr. President to make his final outing here. Mr. President, you have the floor. Thank you, Nigerians. Thank you, Nigeria. Thank you, Nigerians. Please, if you desire to be one of the 75 partners of this platform, please indicate to the rapporteur team by the left-hand side, this side. Let them know that your organization would want to be part of the partnership because the work has just started. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we cannot say, we don't have words deep enough to express our gratitude. We can only pray to God to reward all of you abundantly. But we want to particularly appreciate and express our gratitude to the chairperson of this occasion, an amazing personality. And I must say that I'm amazed by her energy. I'm not surprised by her passion for Nigeria because I have known her not yesterday, not the day before yesterday. I've always known her to be a passionate Nigerian. In fact, she was out of the country. You know, we had to postpone this event, but she had to cancel a medical vacation to ensure that she came back and worked for Nigeria. Our mother, our sister, our friend, Mrs. Dere Awoshika, Dr. Dere Awoshika.
Please, shall we keep the applause going, please?
Before we go far, I would like to quickly add that the Anambra Broadcasting Service television precisely has been with us since last year. When we started this exercise, they've covered us widely, and unfortunately when I was listing the names of partners, they were conspicuously absent. Please forgive me, it's my mistake, not the president. The same thing with Arik Airline. Arik supported us very tremendously. UBEC supported us, so many. And then the issue itself for strategic development communication, they are the ones posting the reports. So all these organizations are part and parcel of those who are giving us support. UBEC, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, and so on. Please bear with me. I was battling to make sure that I did the time. God bless you again. Can you come and applause? I didn't thank Mojima Controller. Thank you very much.
Officer.
We started a program with him about 12 years back. You see it on TV every Tuesday. It's called Bridges. It is Ike, and myself, and of course my main boss, Jimmy Ate, who put all that together. What a way to end and to start to rebuild a new Nigeria. It has been a wonderful 48 hours. We have set a roadmap. We all are committed to doing this. It is not just the duty of NIPR, it is a collective responsibility. And as we go today, I hope that all of us, we can do one thing, one last thing. We'll stand up, touch somebody, hold somebody if it's permitted, and make a pledge to start the rebuilding of Nigeria today. Sister, I want you around because I'm going to hold you, and we're going to be accountable for the outcomes of this meeting. So, in public clear, NTA, thank you for bringing this life. We're going to hold hands together and say that we will rebuild a new Nigeria. There will be a new Nigeria. The good times will come back. And truly, we will stand the Committee of Nations and hold our heads up as indeed the giant of Africa. So be it. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Nigeria. God bless our women, our children, our fathers, our mothers. Our tomorrow will be brighter than our today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, very quickly for the launch, all council members, fellows, special guests, and chapter chairs, please come to this side of the hall, the doorway there for your lunch.